Welcome back, my fellow collectors. I'm Calvin, aka Statue Fanatic, coming at you with another review. This is a review of another Diamond Gallery Select diorama of Spider-Man. I just got this in not too long ago. I got this from the wonderful guys over at Collector Zone. And if you have not checked out Collector Zone, there are some amazing pieces. Many of the things you see at Sideshow and Iron Studio and all those other places, you can probably pick them up at Collector Zone. And they have a really cool point system. So please check those guys out. But what we have here is another diorama PVC piece. And I want to take a look at the box real quick. As you can see right there in the forefront of the box, it says ages 14 plus. That's right. This is not a toy. So as you can see, you've got Spider-Man there in this somewhat dynamic pose. You can barely see him through the plastic, but it comes in the same plastic box as all of the other Diamond Select figures, the three-sided box, giving you a great way to display your items if you don't want to take them out of the box. And here on the back, you have a little bit about Spider-Man and who sculpted this and the designer. Caesar and Alterton are the designers and sculptor of this piece, and this is a throwback or an homage to the 1990s Spider-Man, and we all kind of know what that means. That's the McFarlane era Spider-Man, and there are some telltale signs when you see a Spider-Man and you can attribute it to the McFarlane era and some of the changes that he made in his suit and his costume and the poses that Spider-Man is in many of the comics throughout the 90s. Well, that is the box, and you can pause that if you'd like and read that. But otherwise, let's get this out of the box and see what it looks like. Now that we have him out of the box, we'll do a once around here, just like always, on a little turntable here, so you can kind of see what he looks like all together. Now, there is something that happened here that hasn't happened to me with a Diamond Select piece before. Right here, I have a piece of his webbing that goes right there on the arm. That was rattling around in the bag, in the box, so apparently that broke off, so I'll sit that right here. But I looked at the break. It's a clean break. I can fix it, but it just seems like that could have been better protected so that that wouldn't happen if it were shipped. And this is, I'm talking about protected at the factory in terms of putting it in the bag, in the box when they secured it. But that, not a big deal because I can actually fix that. But let's just take some close-ups here of Spider-Man and see what it looks like. Now the sculpt, I like him being in this dynamic pose, and it is very reminiscent of the 1990s Spider-Man. You've got him leaping across the top of a building here, slinging web as he goes. I'm not sure, about the webbing and how it's actually around this building or anything like that, but I get the gist of what's happening. So I'm cool with the pose. The pose looks good, but there's been a couple of figures that maybe I've gotten some feedback that I've been a little bit lenient on, that should have a little bit more scrutiny, like the Predator figure that I got. So and the Predator figure, I absolutely love the sculpt by Rocco, but the paint definitely left something to desire. And like this also, I think the sculpt on this is really nice. But let's just take some close-ups here and see what some of the detail looks like. Like starting with his portrait here. As I look at this, don't see any major flaws or anything there. You got the big eyes that was made popular by Todd McFarlane sculpt. Oh, pretty muscular there. And then as we turn this guy around, you can see lots of muscles and, really nice sculpt actually. Love the sculpting and the lines that are on his costume. That looks really awesome. And then the spider on his chest is pretty cool. But before we get to that, let's go to the base, because I did think the base was pretty impressive. I love the paint job on the base, actually. The base looks great. He looks like he's on a rooftop, just about to leap over or leaping over a chimney there or something in New York City. You can see right here where there's some webbing that has been stuck to the side there. And then the piece that was broken off was another piece that he would be shooting out of his arm right there. And I'm gonna get some glue and put that back on so we can at least see what it looks like. Now, with that said, let's just talk about QC again. $45 statue, so we'll keep that in mind. But as I've looked at this piece, there's just quite a few places on here where it's whatever. For example, here on the boots, you've got blue paint on the boot there, and then when you go to his midsection, you can see paint spill over there, and then some red paint on his blue costume there. Take a look at his hands there. That looks nice. The lines on that looks pretty cool. But then when you do a close-up of his arm, you can see taking a look at the spider emblem on his back there. You can also see where the red's kind of painted on top of the blue. And you can see the same thing with the seams there with the red. And the same thing here with the blue on the red there. And then on his shoulder you can see the specks of blue paint there on his shoulder. So definitely has some paint QC issues, but in perspective, looking at the piece as a whole, I mean, it looks really good. The blue looks really, really awesome. The color of the blue, the red, the lines, all look great. And then again, a piece that you're going to store on a shelf, those small, and it's a small figure, you wouldn't see those imperfections. But I do know there are people that really want, you know, things to be a lot more perfect. But I will say this, if you collect Diamond Select figures, you're always going to have some that have a few imperfections on them. I'm more concerned about things like what happened with the breakage of the web. I'll try to fix that. But again, overall, this statue, I give it a thumbs up. I've got a few Spider-Man statues, but I like the fact that this had a McFarlane take on it, and I wanted to get it for that reason. So now I'm going to go glue that piece back on, and we'll see what that looks like. Alright, there you have it. I was able to reattach the webbing to his arm and had no problem with that whatsoever. And overall, I mean, gotta admit, it's a pretty cool piece. With the exception of some of the minor paint specks that are out of place, overall it's just a really cool piece. And I would recommend it to Spider-Man fans, definitely. And again, I definitely dig the base. Base is cool. Detail in the base. This rooftop. And that concludes my review of Diamond Select Gallery PVC diorama of Spider-Man. And remember, my friends, to always, always, always collect what you like and not the hype. Until next time, my friends, peace.